Hi, my name is Logan Hernandez. This is my presentation on politics and education. A little history about who I am and where I'm from. I'm originally from Dodge City, Kansas. I graduated from Dodge City High School in 2013. While I was in high school, I was a member of the FFA wrestling and tennis teams. FFA is what paved my interest in agriculture and what paved my way through college. I went to Seward County Community College in the fall of 2013, graduated from there in 2015 with an Associate of Science in Agriculture. I went there on a livestock judging scholarship, but while I was there, I was also a member of the Collegiate Farm Bureau, as well as my sophomore year, a resident assistant. In both years that I was there, I was a student ambassador for the agriculture program. I transferred from there to Oklahoma Panhandle State University, where I graduated in May 2017 with a Bachelor of Science in Animal Science with an emphasis in production and management. While I was there, I was a student coach for the college football team, as well as being the head equipment manager. My career history, shortly after graduating from Panhandle State University, I went to work at General Pest Control in Cimarron, Kansas as a route technician. I was there for about 6 months until I accepted a job at Walmart store number 372 in Dodge City, Kansas, so moved back home. And that's where I was actually an assistant store manager there. I was there for about 18 months. I left this past July, so that way I could start here in Mineola, Kansas at the high school, which is about 20 miles south of Dodge. I teach agriculture and science. I'm going through the T2T with my agriculture endorsement. I'm also an assistant high school football coach, and I'm going to be the head junior high track coach come this spring. Why do politics influence schools but do not necessarily move school leaders to take actions based on politics? When the power shifted from the federal government to the state government, there was a lot of gray area on who had what degree of authority and who had what authority exactly. And not only that, you look at, I think the article said that we read said there's about 13,000 independent school districts. So there's a lot of gray area even with those of, does the superintendent have this authority here, but in a different school district has this authority? That also leads to a lot of questions of, first off, who has what influence and who has more influence here versus there and everything like that. Now, it also leads to a lot of questions of curriculum, not just within state lines, but you look at state to state and then you look at it federally. There's a lot of questions on what exactly we have to teach the students and why we have to teach them. Why we have to teach them. Why we have to put more of an emphasis on one content area versus another. It leads to a lot of questions. Now, why did standards focused on outcomes and seemingly split the work and skills of profession from the knowledge and wisdom of that profession? The standards, they're backed by years and years of research, and that's why those standards are developed. There's a lot of research backing each one of them up. Now, you also must have the skills related to the profession. It's great to be able to know how to teach, but it's even better if you can actually put that into action. And same thing with, for example, like agriculture. We could have somebody that's super knowledgeable and has a lot of wisdom in agriculture, but if they're not able to teach, they're not going to be doing anybody any justice. They also have to be able to teach, have to be able to design their instruction, which is where the skills of that profession come into play. Now, why do politics surrounding education policies provide the strongest connection between what school leaders feel and do and their abilities to strategically think about how to handle it all? The policies are in place because they're looking out for the student's best interest. It takes, if you look at the personal versus collective, it's kind of a me versus we. We look at the whole a lot more than we look at each individual person. And that's where we have to take the stand of doing what's best for the whole. Now, why school leaders must become activists on behalf of students and their families. As school leaders, we get to see that firsthand. We get to see how the students' lives are, and we got to figure out how are we going to divide the scarce resources that we all know we have up. And that's where we have to become activists on behalf of our students and their families to make sure that they're getting the best treatment that we can possibly provide. Why the standards evolved to explicitly call for school leaders' direct actions, provide support, especially when it comes to instruction of especially new teachers. Now, this is also where the superintendent and principal and even the building leaders, they have to step up, and they're calling for their direct action, so that way they can see the policies in place, and if something needs to be changed, they're able to do that. Now, for myself, I know that personally I need to get up to speed on a lot of the politics and education and what all the policies are, And I means I also need to create more relationships with the leaders in these politics and who are creating these policies. A way to improve my current educational leadership, become more involved with what's going on with these policies, and how that'll lead to me becoming more knowledgeable of the policies. For example, we had a chance to meet the school board the other day, and I wasn't able to attend it, but every time that we get to meet these new candidates, I think that it's vital that I start going, meeting them, and understanding what their agendas are. And that also means I need to become an advocate for our students. And I think that's going to be what leads us to having the best policies actually in place.